Hey, late night, how's it going? Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's it going, everybody? One of one clear. There we go. Feels like I do something different every time. How's it going? How's everything look and heat, sound? How's everything here? Hey, Helen. Staying safe. Yep. There's nobody at my building right now. I drive to work and I'm only a mile away, but there's like nobody on the roads. I come into the parking lot. There's cars in the parking lot. Like today, it looks like the crew may have shown up and then went out, but I don't know. They come in different hours, so. But yeah, we're safe. Family at home. No more bee stings. Pug acting normal. So. So today we're sewing our second prototype. I ended up going with just some boring old fabrics because honestly, I just want to feel free to do whatever I want to do to this bag as we sew it. And that kind of gives me that freedom. Like I can draw on it, I can cut it, I can throw it away, that kind of thing. Rather than trying to force a square peg into a round hole, So I don't like wasting things, especially if it's something I can donate. But I feel like this won't get all the way, especially if we're gonna do two flap styles. And I also don't want to put hardware on this bag if I'm not going to be able to keep it. Zipper I don't mind so much, but the hardware is a little harder to come by sometimes, So yeah, trying to stay sane. I know, exactly. I feel very split because everything I like to do is here in this building. But I would rather be home doing it now. It's kind of flipped. Like early on when I started my business a long time ago, like a really long time ago, before my daughter was born, getting out of the home was really helpful. It was really great. And I always recommend it to people struggling, especially if they have smaller kids. I'm like, it's really great to keep work at work and home at home because it's really easy, much easier for me to switch that kind of mindset and not feel like the call of work is pulling at me or the call of home is pulling at me when I'm doing the other, That doesn't work for everybody. Some people can just kind of seamlessly drift between the two, but me, I'm very much like to be focused. So, but now, especially with my peeps at home, I wish I was doing this at home, So it's kind of a weird thing. When I'm like, I'm going to go home early. And then I get home and I'm like, what am I going to do? The only things I can do here are maybe clean or organize or do a house project or cook. And sometimes that's not what I'm in the mood for. You know what I mean? So, all right. So let's get into the sewing because I feel like this one is very promising, but we did make a couple of big changes. And, it'd be really nice to see what they're like. So, yeah. Yeah, making do with home sewing. Yeah, because you are a bag maker as well as your shop outside the home. And it's tricky, isn't it? And I feel like if you do this for a living, especially when I had chicken boots and we were sewing, I hired someone so I wouldn't have to production sew anymore. But then we grew really fast and I had to keep sewing to help keep up. It was a lot easier having someone to be there with, like she made it so much easier because she was taking off the burden. She provided camaraderie. It was like we were a team, but I didn't sew for me. It's that whole cobbler's children thing. I'm sure you get it like, oh, I'll bet you make all your own clothes, or oh, I bet you sewed your curtains and recovered your furniture and all that. And I'm like, no, I don't do that anymore. So yeah, late night. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. It's different for everybody. So yeah, cool, Helen. I'm not sure when you took off, but so let's see. I think the big thing we did was we altered that laptop pocket, which we did early on, so you were probably there for that. And then we did a couple of flap ideas towards the end. One with some sort of gathering on the sides that are pleating, and then the other one just more of a vanilla style messenger flap so that people can choose. And I'm trying to decide, like, I feel like this is like oh, this will be no problem. I'll just draft all these pattern pieces, make a pattern card, and then we'll sew one together, and that's going to be it. But I know enough to know that things always don't go the way you hope they will. So, because I keep thinking this won't be hard to put this out for free, but then I'll be wanting to add some variations, like for those folks that don't want a laptop pocket or want a smaller bag. And I think that's when I'm going to start getting into like, ooh, there's like just so many things you can do, right? Like closure wise, I can offer you 10 different ideas. So yeah, exactly. Trying hard not to let the business take your sojo. Yeah, I know that one. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we just kind of explored different flap ideas, and I kind of am interested to see how this one we did went. We know how probably the vanilla one will go. So, all right, so here's our funky first prototype. No flap and no way to hold it. I also just grabbed some ribbon as placeholders for the straps that we're going to do. So I'm going to put a handle at the back, you know, and then make a shoulder strap. And this is not what I would normally use, so I just want to use it as a placeholder. So, all right. You know, Helen, one of the things I did when I started feeling like I didn't get to sew for myself enough, and I did this a really long time ago, is that on my birthday every year, no matter what, and I mean it, no matter what, I would sew for me. And it ended up being so awesome, and it felt like I felt totally like I can do this. It's my birthday. It's like it gave me permission to do it because it was my birthday. And I mean, the comical thing is like the fact that I was only allowing one day a year to do that. I mean, granted, I would do things like hem pants here and there, or fix something, or maybe sew myself a little bag from the chicken boots thing. Hey, Megan. But that one day a year became so monumental to me, and it ended up a few people I knew would know about it too, because I would say, no, I'm not doing anything today. I'm sewing for me today. I'm not hanging out with people. It was this thing I wanted to do, right? Just giving myself that one day a year. In fact, people started kind of hearing about that and saying, so your birthday's coming up, what are you going to sew for yourself? You know, it wasn't like it was this big thing. It was just like a few friends of mine knew it, and they, you know, supported it, obviously. And even during the years, Helen, and I'm not kidding, that were just so crazy busy, because that ended up being, my birthday's in mid-May, that ended up being the lead up to our Harry Potter event, which was a really huge event for us. And I started that event to kind of keep my sewist employed all summer long during our slow season, and kind of before we could ramp up for fall, right? Because that's when we're selling the least as a knitting accessories company. We might be sewing a lot for gearing up for fall, but we're selling less. And so that was a way to kind of bridge that gap. And it really put a pinch on our fall production, but it was worth it. And it would also be the vehicle where we were like, okay, we can invest in this one small piece of whatever from those funds, right? And but it was always right at the beginning of that, my birthday was, and I would be like, nope, I'm gonna sew for me. And it started growing to where I would allow myself 2 days. I would allow myself one day to cut everything and one day to sew. So I wouldn't spending my whole day like cutting half the things I wanted to make and not finishing, and then sitting there not being finished for another year till my birthday, because that's what would happen. So I highly suggest doing that for yourself if you need it. You know, it really helped me. And I really stress, like, just don't, like, no matter how busy we were, even when the poop was hitting the fan, I would take that day off and nothing bad would happen. It was crazy. Nothing bad would happen. I would remind myself, we're not making, you know, life-saving things here. It's knitting accessories. The world can wait a day or two, you know? And try not to, like, work on the weekends just to make up for it. So, all right, let's sew. All right, so look, we did change this pocket here to fully lined, right? This fabric's kind of interesting. It's got kind of a subtle, this lighting though, subtle texture. It's a little darker on the back, but it doesn't have this kind of denim-y texture to it. Kind of looks, I think it's a sanded twill. It's actually kind of a nice, it's probably organic cotton actually, but I just don't really have much to do with it. Oh, I don't have my machine on. I think I'll just stick with cream thread. I think sometimes it's helpful to see where I'm sewing when I'm trying to decide things, you know? All right. I love doing the cute little pockets of something first. I'm glad that that's one of the first steps you get to do in something like this, you know? Because that way it kind of gives you that instant gratification. We'll iron that. When I started using this little print right here as a muslin, I kind of thought it was a little weird, but now I actually really like it as a muslin. It's kind of like using a fabric that's like a dot paper. If you are a pattern drafter, you know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like dot paper. I don't think it's like perfectly 1-inch squares, and plus they're also diagonally placed, not on a grid. But I like the structural look of it, you know? It's kind of nice. Prep all this stuff here. So we're just gonna line this whole pocket, mainly because we would have had to make the flap really long to cover up the stitching that went across right here for the facing. And I know I'm being a little picky about that, but it is kind of, it just wasn't very nice doing that, you know? Oh, that's great, Helen. The first bag. Oh, I also tend to keep the first bag of a new style too. Yeah. Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, I don't do that. I didn't do that very often towards the end because, I don't know, I'm just kind of not a stuff person. How do I sew these again? I know I struggled with this. This is separate and this is attached. All right. So I'm also trying to minimize the amount of binding we're doing in this bag for you guys. And I think this might be some of the only binding except for one pocket on the inside. You guys got to know I'm going to add binding, right? So, all right, so I don't bind that. Where's my zipper? I got a lot of it. Let's just cut a little bit of it off here. So how are you guys doing? Like, how are you guys doing? You have to you do have to test it, and I definitely did that. In fact, a couple designs I had my customers test because I didn't have the tools, like the interchangeable needle case. I had enough people ask me for it that I put together 17 people, and I just said, hey, would you give feedback on this? And they all did, and it was really great. Between that and getting a couple sets of needles from a company, I think I bought one, and then the other one was like a, they said it was like a returned set, like a maybe defective. It never looked defective to me. Hi, Sandy. Good. Oh, I'm glad it's good to be here. Okay, this one goes up, and the other one goes that way. Okay. I feel like I'm struggling with this whole thing more than I should be, like the state of the world right now. And it's really annoying. Like, I feel like I shouldn't have any reason to struggle, you know? But I'm one of those people that likes feeling productive, and I don't feel very productive right now. So that really grates on me. And I feel really powerless, you know? I just want to help people. Oh, what? Oh, no. Okay, so I accidentally cut this. I didn't even know that was back there. That's so funny. You don't need this piece right here. And if you did it, I would clean finish it. I wouldn't have sewn it that way. I didn't even know it was back there. All right, so let's. So if you have one of these pockets that, like I'm doing, I'm going to bind this top edge, right? And say your zipper tape was narrower, just line it up at the top and trim off what's down there. That's what I would do. Don't try and trim it off at the top. It's just harder. You don't need to either. trying to do the most successful thing you can do is sometimes better and faster. All right. I'm kind of excited to see how people change things on this bag. It's kind of like the open source pattern, you know? What is it that, it's not have it your way. What was it? Hi, Sydney. How are you? Hanging in there? And this one is, okay. I also didn't need to cut 2 of these. I think I'm gonna do, yeah, so I didn't follow my own cutting instructions apparently. Okay, so this zipper goes that way and this one goes that way so that the zipper heads aren't one on top of the other when the pockets are closed, you know? I'm putting on my zipper head afterward just because I can. Then I don't have to sew around it, but you'll probably have a zipper that already has one on there, so you just need to remember that when you're doing it. All right, so then let's sew this. And this time we're not going to forget to, actually, no, I don't want to do that. Do I? No, I don't want to do that. I want to do this like this. So you got to lay this on top of there first. And now I can bind it, right? That's what I do, right? It's all lining up pretty good. Let's tack this down. That would have made it a little easier. Helen, were you one of the testers for the project bag? Oh, right, Helen, I know. Hanging in there, yep, good, glad to hear it. Yeah, I'll be honest, I may not live stream as much or to my normal schedule because it just feels for me really weird that to do this. Like, I know a lot of people are taking advantage of the fact that they're home and they can do the streaming thing or video conferencing or whatever. I've had people reach out to me and ask me how to do it, you know, and that's fine, you know. People gotta do what they gotta do, but it just feels really weird to me. Like, I know people are like, hey, you know, we know you're looking for these things, so we'll put them on sale for you. Or I don't know, it just feels like the whole thing feels really weird to me. You missed that question. Oh, were you one of the testers for my project bag by any chance? I can't remember. I'm sorry, I can't keep track. I didn't head it up, so I don't know all the names. And sometimes I only saw an email address, and the email address didn't say a name, you know? So, I don't know. It just feels really weird to me to be marketing myself, even though this isn't the way I make a living. It just feels really narcissistic, you know? I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. And I'm not going to like put my stuff on sale because I don't want people to spend money at all on me right now because they need to probably hold on to that just in case their finances get tight. I don't know. I feel like there's ways to not spend money and stay busy as well. But then again, I really want to support small businesses. So it's so weird right now, you know? Oh, I didn't turn my iron on. I was about to pop over there. So I'll stay here. And we'll iron this in a second. And so this is, what I'm going to try and do today is sew this separately. I'm going to sew this to the outer bag and keep all the lining pieces separate. I'm going to try and do it so that we can sew this bag with no binding at all. All right, so we're going to put you aside right here. Oh, okay, Helen. Okay. I help with your mental health. I don't know how I do that. I mean, I guess I can see, like, it's nice to probably have new content in a way, you know, like I'm sure a lot of people are running out of movies and stuff, and watching the news is not a great option. This is the little water bottle pocket, so I think I'll just sew this while we're waiting for the iron to heat up. And I'm just gonna do what? Did I cut this badly? Looks like 2 different pieces. Yeah, right, Sydney? Yeah, and you know, it's funny because I get tagged a little bit in mask making things, which is great. You know, I really want that to be helpful. But I'm sure you noticed I'm not promoting anything with that. And it's only because I haven't seen any medical facility actually taking those masks. So I'm kind of like on the fence too on, is that really helpful or not, you know? Because I want it to be helpful. Let's see, we're going to take this and this and this over to be ironed. How do we sew this again? This is the, that little pocket and that little pocket. So I actually probably could sew and turn this one, right? Yeah, I agree, Helen. I think that curve will flatten. Yeah, it's community, it's chat about stuff, and it's more like her. It's normal. Yeah. Yeah, like having something normal is really good. Okay, so that one I'm probably going to bind, although I don't have to bind it. So we won't. All right, so let's take these over to the iron right here. Okay. Okay. All right, so this was the cord pocket. Wait, why didn't that warm up? Oh, I turned it off when I was sitting over there. What the heck? Oh, well. We'll get this going. Get these all positioned. I'll do these first. I've been playing a funny game online with my friends called Overcooked, and it's like, do you guys remember? I think it's like Diner Dash. I didn't play Diner Dash, so I'm not sure, but I feel like that's what Diner Dash used to be. And it's honestly, it's kind of stressful but funny. You know, you have to like cook little orders and serve it, basically. And it's really funny. It's really funny to see the bossy side of my really timid friend come out. She'll be like, why are you just standing there? And I'm like, because I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what we're doing. She's doing everything. It's pretty funny. That's been really lighthearted for me. A nice little escape. But I do that kind of like at night, you know, after everything. All right. That looks much better this time now that, well, because I trimmed it like that. Woohoo, less binding. Yeah, right, Sydney? I know, and it's interesting because admittedly I'm not watching the news all day, right? I'm only listening to the news on the radio usually. And it's usually like a few times throughout the day and then like a big dose of it in the morning and the evening, right? And I have heard some that were not even on the news, but like on a news, maybe like a program, and they'll kind of focus on that. And like I've heard a few in-depth interviews with medical professionals in hard-hit areas, and they're not saying they need those things. And I can't tell if it's because they've gotten stuff from SOAS or it's because other people have really come, to the rally point and gotten them stuff. But I'm still seeing, and now it's becoming like a really popular thing. And now I feel really like I don't want to talk about it at all because I don't really want to feel like I'm trying to get views just because I did that, So I'm just hanging back. My mom's a retired nurse and my dad is a retired firefighter. There's no way I would want to do something that wasn't true. In that regard. But I was thinking also, like, living in California, we probably have a lot more of those like N95 masks at hand than some areas because of fires. Because my family had to wear those after the fire. I could see smoke in my bedroom, you guys. That's how bad it was. So we were using those masks just to go to work and stuff, That's awesome, Helen. Oh, so Sydney, someone else mentioned that to me. Maybe it was you who told me that on Instagram, and then someone else did as well. And I said, can you let me know what's in that kit? I want to know what's in the kit. And then they messaged me and she goes, she said, the medical community or the businesses around in my area decided to help and they're making the masks. And so we didn't get the kits. They're like someone else in the community is helping out the medical community now. So, right, Sandy? Yeah. 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 So I know, and one of the vendors I used to use, Car Textile, they sent an email yesterday saying, hey, if you are making these things, we have supplies, and some of them are as low as $1 a yard. And I posted it to my stories yesterday because I thought that was pretty interesting. I doubt any of the people who follow me are looking for some sort of vendor, like a wholesale vendor for that, but, it's an option. I'm kind of sewing this bag all over the place. It's probably not how I'll do it when I instruct you guys. Okay, so I'm going to sew this so that we don't have to have any binding. Yep, that was Providence. And this is, and that's where the different, okay. You're in the Pacific Northwest, right, Sydney? Or do I have that wrong? Because that's where I've been kind of paying attention to it because they were, the Seattle area was, you're in Washington, aren't you? They were hit. My sister's up in Mukilteo. Her husband's in the Navy and he's deployed right now, so he's away. It was so funny. I caught up on Walking Dead yesterday and they went to like an abandoned naval area. I started thinking about Walking Dead. I doubt any of you watch that show, but it's one of the only shows I still watch, and I have since it came out. I was thinking, like, why are resources so limited when there's so few humans? Yeah, the Seattle area. Yeah, okay. And so that different hospital group, will it be, is it your area? I'm curious. I'm really pulling so I don't have to iron. See, I put my hand against the zipper. I just got it crooked doing that too just now. Actually, I didn't. Not too bad. That's okay. All right, so we have this. Last time I put on 2 zipper pulls. I'm just going to put on 1 this time, because that's probably how it would be for most folks. Helen, that's awesome. I think I just like, that's the kind of thing that tickles me, the production style thing. And I really learned that hard lesson once of the more I have on the shelves, the more I sell, you know? Oh, okay, yeah, Sydney, you're in Woodinville. Okay, Woodinville. That's kind of a cute name. It sounds like something from, I don't know, a TV show. It sounds like something from that game everyone's playing called Animal Crossing. Woodinville. I actually don't know. I don't play that, and I don't know what the towns are called. I don't even know if there is towns. Okay. As with most projects, it's the same in bags. Doing all your pockets first, because you kind of have to be able to assemble all the pieces in a bag before you can sew those pieces together to form the bag, right? All right, so now we have this pocket here, right? Which will get sewn onto the laptop pocket. And then we have this one here, and we have our, we remembered too that we need to, why is that lined up so poorly? Oh, I think I didn't adjust the height of this. We need notes today. Just in case, right? You know what, Helen? I realized I didn't have to bind this one. Did I? She's like, wait a minute. You don't have to. Oh, that's so cute, Sydney. Franciscan. Okay. You wouldn't have to, Helen. You could actually just stitch down the zipper tape without binding it. You could, if you were crafty enough, even do this, sew it straight down and then pull it over like that. It would stick up a little bit, but that's actually not a bad thing. So, Helen's all, I thought we weren't binding that. No, I'm just teasing. Okay, so next we're going to sew our little gusset pockets. I actually love sewing these. I know, everyone's having so much fun with that little game, Animal Crossing. I think I played it on my, like a version of it on my phone because my friends talked about it, and I think it was called New Leaf or something like that. Or Green Leaf or New, I don't know. I actually think Green Leaf is the name of where, like something to do with Brooke. So, all right, so we have that one. But the animals talk too much. You would fake it with the lining pieces. Yeah, you could do that. This one will just get top stitched down though, so but you could put a piece of lining going up to this edge here. Sew and turn. Hi, Eileen. Oh, stay safe, Eileen. I don't know what kinds of patients you see, but you still working? Thanks for working. Must be really surreal what we're doing here. Your son develops those games? That's awesome. It's a good time to be a gamer for the isolation thing. All right, so I'm going to just sew this little box, which seems like a complicated thing to do, but it's really not, because you just fold it along that point there and kind of keep a parallel line, and then we'll just stitch it down. I don't really have that line going to the right spot at the top, so we need to adjust that. Did I not turn that? Did I not sew that straight? Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I fell off. Then pivot. So I think I want to get this right here lined up better. So, oops. Line up better. Okay. All right. I do think it's easier to maintain that parallel gusset by doing it with the gusset side up. Okay, so now we have these two pockets. We're gonna sew them together. All the way to that bottom of that gusset right there. All right, so now we have our two gusset pockets. It's looking very khaki military, doesn't it? All right, so let's see how this fits this time. If we put this here, like that, and then we go here to here to here. All right, that's way better this time, so that's good. So I think this time I'm going to, let's see, do I want to stitch this down and then stitch this like that? I think I do, actually. I don't want to forget to stitch down this pocket like I did last time. Remember that? Oh, it was all your fault, but you know. So now we have our three pockets here. 1, 2, and 3. All right. Now we can sew this little gusset pocket here, and probably want to line this up like that. Yeah, so this is taller, so we need to deal with that. I'm really surprised I didn't break my thread just now because I just raced over all those zippers. Okay, and then height, match the height of gusset and angle pockets. Okay, like this. And then I'm going to stitch it down on the perimeter here before I stitch that down. Probably use a notch right there. Pivot. You would have wanted to add any closures to the pocket here. All right. Okay, so this is nice and secure. That looks pretty good right there. That looks better than our first time doing that. How did we do that? Did we just turn it under? This time it went better. Yeah, look at that. I turned it under and top stitched it down. This is way nicer. Very clean, but this is a little bit annoying. That little Whoop-de-doo. Our seam allowance poking out right there at the top of the pocket, so you may want to consider finishing that, or you can top stitch this down. Something to think about. All right, so now we have our flap that I feel like I may have just lost. It's not in the trash can. Here's our water bottle pocket. Where's our flap? I feel like I was just touching it and I was ignoring it while I knew I was touching it. Yeah, it's nice and neat, isn't it? So it's not inside, right? Where's the flap? It's the perfect thing to slide under my foot pedal. Oh, I see it. It's right there. I remember setting it there so I wouldn't lose it. You would top stitch it? Yeah, I think that's a good idea. It would secure the seam allowances down. I really love how clean it looks though. You know? It looks pretty nice. But yeah, that little raw edge. So this raw edge over here gets put in the seam. So maybe we can let that one go because it can get the flap. You like that color? Yeah, it's actually a pretty nice khaki color. Look how big this flap is now. Maybe we could put a little box in our flap too. Ooh. So what if this was here? We top stitch this down there, but we put a little bit of a, I kind of like that idea. Let's try that. This flap is probably not long enough for this. We're gonna do it this side. Up. No, I wanted the, I wanted my, why did I think that that was the right way to put that? Oh well. Do that like that. I think there's potential there. I think the flap needs to be, look how much whiter it is now though. So if that is like this, I need to pin sew it here. Okay. Because look at how much further that is over there. I haven't stitched down. All right, let's stitch down our pocket. All right, so then I'm going to figure that out by going like this, lining up like that right there. And lining this up like that. And that's going to give me where this is going to go. Like this. A drill hole would help for this. Got a little kooky there at the end. Okay, so now we have our width. Okay, so if this were sewn down, I need a little room to be able to bend it and top stitch it. I think that this is too wide now. Didn't add that much. All right, and then if that was up like that, we sit on both sides of the pocket seam and we'll hide those raw edges. It might, but they're kind of wider because like this one just got sewn down and they're still there. If you, you know, one of the things you could do, I wonder, is if this was the same height as this, right? You could sew and turn inside from the lining. Could you? No, you can't because we've box stitched it already. If you box stitch this later and these two layers were still separate, you could clean finish on that. No, wait. And then push it towards the pocket. Right? Or you don't top stitch this down. You sew this seam here, right here, but push it that way. And then top stitch along the edge. That would be a way to do that. This one doesn't show. This one does. We forgot about these two, huh? There's some tricky ways you could do it, but it needs to be pretty self-explanatory or easy to explain. And something that's not kind of a headache, you know? This one wouldn't be too bad, but figuring out this one, I'm not sure. And then this pocket here. And this flap, I'm kind of over-engineering right now. Let's see, let's put that there. And then that was top stitched down. I just don't like, you know what I want to do? I want to clean finish this edge right here. So just bear with me. I'm going to tuck this in. If I hadn't top stitched it, I could just do it and sew it and turn it and leave a little tiny hole. But I already had stitched it. Just little darts instead of top stitching the whole flap. Yeah, I think you're onto something there. I'm trying to make this very straightforward. You know what I mean? Let me start from this end so I can have the good side showing. I have to think about like how to explain it. The last thing I want is us designing this bag for you guys and no one sews it, you know? This is for you, you know, and it's the one you wanted. And I don't think a lot of people will sew it, but at the same time, I still want the pattern to be good. And something someone can figure out. There's ways we can fuss it and make it work. I'm aware of that for sure. This is something you could do from the beginning, and sometimes people do this with flaps. They clean finish this, and then they can just top stitch it down, you know? Oof. What if it was just one big flap that went across? Hi, Terry. Science school, we're kicking your butt. Oof. Well, they could, but we wanted a phone and an eyeglass pocket is what you guys were looking. You have your hair picked out? Awesome. The bag maker. You got to put it through its tests, Helen. I do like the idea of one flap. I like the way this pocket looks over here, the flap over here, then here. You know, I haven't really done any research either to see like what people do. Like I can picture a cargo pocket. Hi Patty, how's it going? Hey Barbara. I've definitely done, it could be split into two. So then it would be like basically like this whole pocket, and then you just stitched it down in the middle, and then the gusset's only on the side. No, it's not, Terry. No, I ended up just picking something for the prototype again. I ended up not picking something special. I have a lot of fabric in some ways, but I don't in other ways. You know what I mean? I'm sure you all know what I mean. That's why it's always good to buy fabric for a project, because then you end up having some fabric sitting around that you're like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. But at the same time, like, it's nice to have spare fabric so that when there's a lockdown, you can't go to the fabric store, you have some options. I have a lot of canvases, but they're kind of dark. Yeah, exactly, Helen. I think you're right. We could do that. I think that there was a way to clean finish those two together, though. And then you would just top stitch it down. Right? So if, say this whole pocket was sewn, not attached right now, you could clean finish these two pockets together. Right? Do you guys want me to figure it out? Is that all right? Can I? Oh, I sewed this on the wrong side of the canvas. What a doofus. That's so funny that I did that. I am pretty sure I've got a solution for the center. Right, Helen? Oof. Did you see that? I hope you didn't see that. All right, let's get this one started over here. I did just get an order from Hearts Fabric. I showed you guys yesterday. They're still shipping. All right. Get past the zipper. Too close to the edge, I might rip. All right, let's get rid of this here. I think that doing this idea, it may end up not being able to work because of that. I already put the box stitch in. Hi, Louise. How's it going? We're trying out a sewing idea to clean finish these raw edges here. Sometimes you just gotta like try it so that you know and you don't spend any more effort on it, you know? Okay, so let's get rid of all these threads. I looked at adding music to the stream without, if my videos aren't monetized, 'cause I'm starting to take off the monetization, and you can't do that either. Kind of a bummer. There's a ton of non-copyright music out there. It's just, you know, doing it and creating a playlist of that particular music. It's not easy. And some of it's weird. Hence why my music on my 2019 sewing summary is a little bit weird. I had to find something that was the length of the video. Okay, so let's see here. So now we have these two pockets. Right? And they are ready to go. Okay, so we have these two pockets. And so I'm thinking that you could sew this together like this. See, if that wasn't in a box stitch right now, I think I could do it. So let's just take out one side of our box stitch. I think I only need to take out one side. It would clean finish those edges there, and then when you just top stitch it down like I did in the very end, you know? I'm really good at catching a seam ripper. Don't throw a ball at me though, I'll duck. I really want to play with my dress form. You know? I feel like this interrupted that kind of flow, you know? This whole quarantine thing. "20 minutes of watching seam rip. Always a good time." All in the name of getting this nice and clean finished. And seeing if it'll work without having to cut out another prototype. We have nothing but time, right? All right. Okay, so let's see. Should have ordered new scissors, huh? All right, so now this is open like this. And so I'm pretty sure if I do this, actually this can stay like this, flat, and then this side go like this. What do you think of them apples? I'm so fumble fingered. There we go. Pull that over as tight as we can. It's going to be a little bit tight because I've already stitched everything else down, but I think even if we just do it at the top, that's all we're seeing. Hi, Barbara. How did I finish the two edges of which pockets? The ones I'm doing now? See, oh, I ran out of bobbin. Well, snap. And I don't have one winding. Are you talking about these? These are fully lined now as far as the top edge goes. Oh, Helen, I'm like about to do a magic trick. I ran out of bobbin though. So on the Gusset Pockets, Barbara, we decided to line the pockets. They're not faced at the top anymore, so we don't have to worry about that top stitch line peeking out from underneath the flap. And then on the zippered pocket, we bound the top edges, so that's how those are finished. And then as far as the long sides here, those aren't finished of the Gusset Pockets quite yet. And that's kind of what we're working on because we can see them poking out of the pocket on the bag at the very top. And so that's why I ripped it off, because I have an idea of how to finish. Oof. I'm just going to sew with a different color bobbin until that one's full, which does not take long. It'll be like, yeah, so these edges are not finished yet. So I just sewed it clean finished along the top edge here. Doesn't look clean, does it? So we just sewed it along the top edge and then turned it to the inside and pressed it. And that's all. Oh no, Terry. That's all I did so far. And so now we're looking at like when the pocket is stitched to the bag, we're seeing this little corner poke out, right? And so this is what I've decided to do is clean finish it like this. I'm just going to sew these two pockets together, at least on the top. Right? I only need to get down even just a little bit, right? And now I have backwards pockets. Right sides together, Sarami. Make sure that's winding. Looks like I've had the wine. I drank all your wine, huh? Okay. Right sides together. I'm doing the wrong one. This is the one I need to be doing right here. Right, Terry? How did I not notice that? So funny. All right. I need my awl to get this all the way at the top there. Okay. So if we just go part way. Just a little bit. Now, right? So now we have that clean finished right there, okay? And we could just clip this right here. So we can put a clip on the pattern and you just sew to the clip to clean finish. And now you can stitch all these together the other way we just did originally. You know, there we go. Like that. This little ditch is going to get stitched down to the bag, and I really feel like all these little things will smooth out once you do that. It'll look like it was one continuous seam. See? Oh, except for that little tuck I got there. Holy heck. I'm gonna smooth that out with my top stitch. All right, so you get the idea though, right? So now that's clean finished up there. Still need my box stitch right here. Put that back in. Now then we would do our box stitch. Meet up with where it was. Like that. Okay. And then we'll stitch that down right there. That's really gonna bug me. Can I get it though? I don't think I can get it. I think it's because it's a little off-centered right there. Is it, Cherry? You do? These are just like, this is just muslin fabrics. All right, so now we have this little edge here. So it could be that we do the same thing. So all we have to worry about as far as our raw edges poking out on these pockets is right here and right here. This one gets into the seam of the bag, right? So we could do this exact same technique, but all the way down with this pocket right here and push the seam that way underneath. Once they're the right height, because right now this pocket's a little too short to do that because I keep forgetting to fix it. And then we're good. Now we have clean, finished things without too much craziness. Right? All right, so now let's carry on. Getting rid of some threads out of my way here. Okay. So what I've been doing here is like I line up this raw edge to the raw edge of the bottom right here. And sew down. Because that's the seam line. I pivot on the seam. It's not the like, oh shoot, we didn't, well, we'll just do the top stitch thing then. I'll just edge stitch it like Helen's been saying to clean finish this one so that this bag has that, you know. Okay, my bag's definitely getting a little, the fabrics are getting a little tired there. Okay, I didn't catch it that time. Dang it. That went so far. This is why I don't buy those ergonomic seam rippers. Have you guys seen that? Because they roll all over the place. Yeah, that finished those edges right there. So now I can just top stitch this down, right? Like this. Try and smooth out my little whoop-de-doo there. Like that. Okay. Oh god, that looks really terrible. It looks terrible in person, that's for sure. Okay, but now we know. We can get... What in the ever-loving is going on down here? You know, that felt funny when I did that. That's what it was. Remember I said something right there? I was like, that felt kind of funny. What it was kind of funny. That's why. Let me smooth that out. So we have a clean finish method for those little folded edges now. So that's good. And now we can move on. I haven't really decided on the flap though. I'm not big on it. Oh, the bobbin thread's a different color. Time to switch. Let's put that other one almost done in there. Sorry, Helen. Chances are I might be in this exact same spot when you come back. All right. Okie dokie. Let me put this little box stitch on here. I'm just gonna leave it. All right, so here we are. We have our flap now. I clean finished it, which might have been a mistake. So what about, did you guys, which one of you said a dart? But that was for the top of the pocket, right? Not for the flap. You know? I think that's how they're done. I feel like cargo pockets, that's what they do. They do what we've been doing down here On the flap, they do the same thing. They put a little thing like that. I mean, we've seen some, right, that are just stitched down all the way through the pocket, you know, to be more like on this side, and they just do this. I don't know. I'm not really sold on the flap. I'm just going to stitch this down at this end. I mean, look at how far that's going over. I thought I only added like 1/4 of an inch to the flap. Remember that? I only added 1/4 of an inch on this little, on the curve, right? I need to think about the flap. I'm not thinking about it correctly. I can tell. I'm just going to put a couple of pleats in it for now to remind me. Okay. Maybe we do pleats. Okay. Here's our front for now. That'll be clean finished without the raw edge there. This, look at that. Nice and clean finished right there. You'd want to make sure your back tack isn't doing what mine's doing. See, I have this one extra thread right here. I should have gone much more secure than that. Let's see. Right there. No for the flap. Okay, are you talking about the gusset pockets late night? You'd separate them again, so darts in each piece. Line them right sides together, so around, turn and top stitch them. Darts. What do you mean darts? I got that clean finish. That was pretty slick. I like it. The flap? Meh. Okay. I'll set that aside for now. Let's finish this pocket here. This one is going to get stitched down across the top. So let's do that. I'm going to watch for your response. I think I'm not understanding. Tell me what the dart's for. Take as many words as you want. All right, so this is the laptop pocket. I forgot to add a stiffener or batting. That's a bummer. All right, we have this top edge. I can iron that. You mean the flap? Oh, okay. So darts in each piece. Line them right sides together. So around, turn, top. Okay. Yeah. So you are thinking doing a little bit of articulation in the little flap. I think you're right. I actually do think that that's exactly what I need to do. I need to make the flap constructed like the cargo pocket at the bottom is. I'm going to write it down. Okay. Pocket flap with gussets. All right. My bobbin's not winding. That's annoying. Oh, I see why. I kind of wound too much on there, and I thought, that's a little overkill, and ended up being something else. Okay. Darts like little boxer. Yeah. Okay, late night. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I think it just needs to be the way that a cargo pocket is sewn. Just like the reverse, right? That's easy to do. All right. And that will be easy to test. So exactly. Let's get some fabric. We can do it. Right? Why not? I have some right here. Just, you know, hum to yourselves for a second. Let me cut a little piece off here. And I'm going to trace the pattern piece real quick. Where is it? It's buried. All right. I'm coming. I really am. Okay, so I traced the gusset to the, I traced the end of the bottom of the pocket right there, right? And let's put this right sides together. And then we just need our flap depth and width. So it's going to be something like that. And you're not left with the, oh yeah, on the sides. Yeah, okay. So, right. Something doesn't feel right about this, but, oh, I have an extra piece of fabric here, which is great because I'm going to cut it out and then I'll have a pattern for later. You're also smart. Thank goodness, right? Thank goodness I have these peeps. That's what I'm thinking, though. I feel like, you know, you really can't fight the gusset. I think my flap's, oops. I think my flap's going to be going the other direction, though. Because I traced this on the wrong side of the fabric. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to save this. Even if it ends up being what not to do. Because that's just as important as knowing what to do. Alright, so now let's... Nope. You like what I almost did there? Hi, Lou. How's it going? So I'm gonna sew these right? I'm gonna do this first. Yeah. Because in this case, I actually want these to be clean finished. I didn't need it at the bottom of the pocket. All right, so now we have, oh, right? Okay, and put this right sides together. I think I should clean finish that turn under edge. You think I'm gonna be okay? Let me think here. I'm not doing a good job of keeping that little angle we had. I think I'm gonna go just a little bit. Why not, right? Hello, New Zealand. Yes, good morning. Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? I can tell, like, you know, my daughter, she goes to a high school that's independent study. And it's pretty cool. It really suits her and us really well. But at the same time, you know, even though it's like minimal on campus time, it is kind of robbing her of those last couple like of months getting across the finish line. And it's just really heartbreaking, you know. And it's such a small thing. Like, people are going through really awful things, so it's really hard to feel bad about it, like, and not feel guilty for her, I'm sure, you know, because I know her. Okay. Oh, wow, Lou. Yeah, Louise, I've heard that. You're in the UK, right? I've heard that. Yeah. So around, leave a gap. Yeah. Turn and voila. Yeah. All right. Thanks, late night. That's exactly what I did. Sorry that the chat is so delayed to what I'm doing. It probably drives you guys absolutely crazy. Let me iron it. I'm wondering if I, you know, like edge stitching it down onto the bag. This time I won't edge stitch it until I'm going to put it to the bag, though. You know? Been a long time since I drafted a cargo pocket. And even then, it didn't work somewhere where we did it all the time, you know? It's just for a couple of styles that we had in the line for a long time. All right. Well, that new follower. We got the swimming corgi. Thanks for following. We appreciate it. I can't see the screen. Sorry. I would love to say thanks for following so-and-so. That's kind of, I didn't mean that pun, but it's a pretty good one, huh? So-and-so on the so-so. Okay. Yeah, exactly, Eileen. Okay, so here we go. I think I'll edge stitch around the little flap. I'm not going to back stitch yet. I should have backstitched. All right, so this is looking like a it looks like a fairy hat or something. I don't know. It's not what I keep thinking. Okay. Skip the box stitch though, right? I see, look at evidence I'm a polar. Look at that wavy junk. I'm a polar when I sew. It's such a bad habit. And that's all the bias right there, so it gets all wavy. All right, so let's see. I sewed this clean here. It's a little hole there. I was gonna edge stitch it down or edge stitch it down. What do you think? What are you laughing at? The fairy hat? It kind of does though, doesn't it? I'm gonna try this. I feel like now though, I can get right to the top of the pocket. Ow! Okay. It's a little big. It's too big. But I think that's partly because I edge stitched my channel there. And that took up a lot, you know. Okay, this is a little too big. but we're getting there. We have a plan. You know what I mean, jelly beans? This most excellent eyeglass case that Miriam made me. Yeah, so we need to figure out a way to keep it down. And I'm getting a little bit of, like, I think I could actually take out a little bit of extra. See that? Yeah, Eileen. Eileen's like, skip the flaps. All right, so look at that, though. I think that looks really nice. I think it'll be okay, though, Eileen. Once we get it dialed, it'll be easy. This is what happens. This is exactly the process, right? You sit here and you do this and you just think, oh boy. And then, but once you dial it in and you make it easy to sew, it'll be fine. But like that feels really nice. It's kind of snug. And let's see. Where is that? Am I pinching really that much? These pins, man. They're like spears. You're trusting. Maybe with top stitching. I have doubts about the top stitching, and maybe it's just me, my sewing ability, but all right, well, let's play with that later. That gave us a lot of information, I think. You know what? You could just put a piece of damn Velcro on it. No, just teasing. Yeah, but I think that is really close. Okay, cool. Moving on. Oh, let's iron this while it's hot. Thank you for trusting, Eileen. Yeah, the toggle, exactly. Yeah, I think you're right. Like doing the magnetic snap or a toggle. Yeah. All right, let's just hop across the top. Because it's honestly the easiest thing I'm doing today. All right, where's our pocket? So here, this is our precious and cord pocket thingy. And I think there's a lot of layers right now. There's 4 layers here. You don't need this layer right here. So that would take off one. Yeah, I think so, Terry. I think that flap will work. I like figuring those things out, though. You know, they're pretty interesting. Okay, so let's see. And I was just trying to think of an easy way to not have to turn under all these thicknesses like this, because it's kind of a lot, without using binding. Even though that would be one way to keep it all flat. But yeah, I think you're just going to have to turn it under. So let's line up these edges best you can. It can be just kind of centered. And then we'll top stitch down our pocket. It's a little thick. Put a few. I'm actually just going to put pins in the middle so it doesn't shift at all. Like that, right? We have our, we need our little mark there for our separation for the pocket. Okay. Let's start this upside down, kind of like we do. Oh, that's right. We need to put fabric at the ends of the zipper here. We got to remember to do that so that we can turn under the edge. Okay, so let's write that down. What are those called? Zip tabs? Oh, wow, Eileen. I wouldn't worry about perfection. You know? Fabric tabs at ends of, or it's called a zip tab, right? Ends of zip on cord pocket. Okay. Because then you can turn under this edge no problem, no matter what kind of zipper you use, brass or otherwise. So I'm going to do this like this upside down and turn it kind of like I'm doing a jeans pocket, just to give it a little bit more reinforcement at that stress point there. I don't recommend turning under your zipper like this, especially on a home machine. My machine, it doesn't really have a problem with stuff like that. A home machine might, even if it's just that the feed dogs can't really pull it, you know? Oof, Sherry, I bet those are going to be amazing though. Sherry, what would make you feel more confident? Would it be sewing a test? What if you did that? That sounds like a lot of work, I know, but you don't have to do like all the stuff you would normally do, right? You could just, even if you draped your drapes. Yeah, well, that's important, Eileen. I saw my local fabric store is taking them and then putting a removable HEPA filter in them. But I don't really know how that works either. I wish people that were doing things like that, because I did the video so early on, I wish they would actually tell me, contact me and say, hey, this is what you should be telling people, or don't do this, or do this, or tell people to send them to us. You know what I mean? Like, but nobody's reached out to me that way. I get tagged a lot. Like, oh, this gal has one, but I don't have, I'd really like some actual information about this. And I really don't feel like I have the best. All right, so I'm just gonna go up to the zipper, skip, and continue. This is a really fun way to get 2 pockets from 1 zipper. I've never seen anyone do this before. We did it on a bag that I had in a special edition, limited edition run. But see now, look, you have 2 pockets like this. And even though there's a pass through when this is zipped shut right there, I mean, come on, you're not really worried about it doing that. So now you have 2 pockets with 1 zipper. You know? Yeah, the muslin, maybe that would help. Is that what you're doing, Eileen? Because this fabric store locally, they sell vacuum cleaners, and that's what I'm wondering if they're utilizing HEPA filters from that. I was trying to figure it out. Okay, so now we have, this is our laptop pocket with a bit of it draped out of the top now. Finally wearing my rings. Almost regretted it instantly. Had to take them off 3 times to wash my hands. Yeah, you can apply that kind of zipper on anything, you know? Like with 1 zipper, 2 pockets, 1 zipper, 4 pockets, 1 zipper, 8 pockets. Oh, I remember what we did it on. In fact, this is a pattern I've actually been thinking I might do for my birthday month. But ironically, it's a travel bag, so maybe it's not a good idea. That's why I kind of pulled back on it. But it was a travel bag, you know, that you would hang up, and it has all the pockets. We did it as a limited edition thing, and all my friends have them, and a lot of people say they work really great, and I really like the design. I use it too. And this is how we did that. We did this like twice, so that you can put, you know, because these get kind of bulky. So, all right. So now here is our back pocket. We have our front. Hi, Lori. Thanks for subscribing. Welcome. Maybe I can see who subscribed earlier. Subscribing on YouTube just means that they start following. Oh, there's no name for that one. Bummer. Okay, so now we have our outer pockets, inner pockets. We have our water bottle pocket somewhere around here. Is this it? Here it is, right here. Let's do our back pocket. You guys wanted pockets. We will travel again. We were actually planning a trip to the summer, you know, but I think we're going to put it on hold. Okay, I'll iron this when we're back over there. So now we have, I'm going to set all the lining pieces aside here. Let's attach this to the inside here. Okay. This is when we need notches for the top placement so you can start. I taught you how to sew sleeves, Lori? Do I know you in real life? Or do you mean on one of the videos? I'm so glad. I remember just hating sewing sleeves when I was learning to sew. Man. And then I learned a tip from a really great seamstress. I don't even remember who it was. And I've been using that method ever since. What was this binding from? This was from a group we had called Night Flight. It was really pretty. It didn't sell that well. I feel like it didn't photograph that great, but I loved the fabric. It was it was an art gallery fabric, and it had birds flying across the sky, but the birds I think were made up of little tiny birds or dots or something. It was very delicate, and this was the binding from that. But it was an art gallery fabric, and art gallery fabrics are really cool in that they're lighter weight. They're more like a poplin. They call them quilting cottons, and they sell them directed at the quilting market, but they are just about garment quality. So, oh, that's awesome. You're welcome. Absolutely. How did she like her pajamas? Did she like them? I have a top sitting right there that I haven't sewn yet, but I cut it out of knit, and so it won't be as hard to sew as far as the sleeve goes. Okay, here's our inside back. Where is our baffle? Right here? Okay. I do need now the I just did that wrong. You guys. This doesn't go to this piece. Oh, that's awesome, Eileen. Oh, Sherry. I mean, yeah. That's actually a really common mistake. I think it's really hard to understand where the sleeve is in relation to your body. And even when you start kind of grasping that, it's not logical. Oh, she loved them? That's amazing. Now you're going to have to make her pajamas all the time, though. I really like how my knit set came out, where I did the woven bottoms from the Caroline set, and then I did a knit top. I really like them. I don't wear them together. It's a lot to take in, all those moths. This should have gone to the lining, you guys. That's why I just sat there staring at it going, this isn't wrong. Why is this wrong? Needed to go to the lining. What I'm going to do is I'm trying to make sure we can sew this bag without using binding as the final step. Because I love you guys. I also love you guys and would make you sew more binding because of it. Yeah, you know, Eileen, I was actually thinking of firing up my binding machine because it's right out there. There's just no plug on that wall that works. Because it would be lickety-split binding masks. You know? Okay. So this piece, so we have this, these pockets go to this, but these pockets here go to the lining. You know? Here we go. Like this. This is the inside of the bag. So we need a notch at the top there. I didn't write that down yet, but I think that's the kind of thing I don't normally write down unless it's something I think I'll forget. When I actually drew the pattern, that'll come up. Oh, using the binding attachment and serger. Oh, that's awesome, Lori. I just got some Lady McElroy fabric. I have a couple of them. Who's Lady McElroy? Is that like a brand? Or is it a artist? Or like what? Who is that? Do you know, Lori? I just bought the Faces print, which I have to tell you guys, every time I see it, I actually am not a huge fan of it. But then when I saw it in green, I was like, okay. I kind of like the green. I like house prints. Like if you're gonna make me pick like some like little repeating print, I like houses and like things like that. I rarely use them. I just think they're cute. Faces? No. I think faces are kind of weird. Okay. Now I have my lining, which goes to my lining right here. These pieces, they go together. Stick the lining to the lining. And then we have the flap, the baffle. We have this guy here and this guy here. This goes to the outer bag right here. So these all go together. Now we have our flaps. We also will need to do our strap, and that's it. So let's do a flap, and let's do this some zippered one we kind of worked on a little bit. Here's my zipper. This zipper's too wide for this style pocket, but I'm gonna make it work because that's what I have. I think it's a brand. Okay. And I need to put this. All right, so we're gonna go over to the iron. I think this is the vanilla flap. Ooh, butterflies and snakes. The beautiful egrets. It isn't the those big flies. Isn't that one as well? Because I bought that one. Allison from Hearts Fabric, when I met her here in Chico, she showed up wearing this deer and doe dress made in that fly. She looked so cute in that dress with that print. All right, so for kids at home here, meaning you guys, if you're going to do this, make sure you draw your box on the fabric. I started this and instantly remembered that's what I should have done. I should have drawn a box because this is probably not going to turn out as great now. Whoops. Oh, yeah, I'm doing this whole thing wrong. I'm going to start over. I'm jumping the gun, getting too excited. Whoops. Let's stitch a box. And then I am missing a piece of fabric. That's what it is too. Okay. I need a piece of fabric. I don't know why I didn't set this up this way. I do need to line this pocket. Okay. And the other thing I did wrong was cutting this one already of a preceding generation. Interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to put this on here like this. I'm going to sew it from this side. I'm actually going to sew it starting here. One, two, three, four, five, six. Okay. One, two, three, four, five, six. Okay. All right. Now let's cut. Yeah, exactly. Late night, right? I don't know what I was just planning on right then, but now I'm going to cut. Now I'm going to cut. Now I'm going to iron. Okay. I wanted this to be a nice, easy welt for you guys, if you wanted to do it. This is the easiest way to do it. See how it looks on this side. Let's get that nice and rolled to the inside. Okay. I get there in the end, right? All right, so then in my pocket, if I'm using it, it's on my body. I think, so there's two schools of thought with how, what direction a zipper pocket closes. Some folks feel like pulling it down is more secure because it's easier and easier action to do. Other people find that if you don't get it all the way shut and it's open down there, because this is the shallower end of your pocket, things can spill out because this is where all the things are going to pool, right? They're going to like collect there. So they feel that pulling it up is more secure because then you could, if you don't shut your pocket all the way up, all the way, the opening is at the top where less stuff is collected. So you can see now how big my zipper is compared to this. It's kind of a big coil for this, and I'm not even really gonna worry about centering it because I cut such a big thing. I think I'll add a couple pins, otherwise it might get crooked. That would be my hallmark. I do not like these quilting pins, these orange and green ones. They bend. Whereas these yellow ones do not bend, you know? All right, and then this is right? This feels different. And now I'm just gonna edge stitch around the perimeter. I didn't get that quite in the same spot. Trying to keep it centered. Too much stuff on my sewing table. All right, so now you have your zippered pocket, and your tape is raw in here, so that's why it's not really a true, welt with a nice clean finish. Trim a little bit of my zipper off. Don't cut your sleeve in the process. And now I'm going to I'm gonna wait. That's what I'm gonna do right now. So then I really only need a pocket facing that's going to fit the way I'm going to top stitch the pocket down. This piece of fabric I'm cutting right now is a facing for the hole. That's all it is. It's not the pocket bag. It can't be used as the pocket bag. So what I'll do probably is when I go to stitch down the pocket to the lining, the flap to the lining, to kind of create the bag, because you don't want to use no stitching around here, because anything you put in this little pocket will be in the entire flap. So once the flap lining is sewn to this, which I'm going to do right now, it will stitch around the pocket once it's all sewn and turned, and then you'll have a very simple zippered pocket on your flap. So in turn, iron now. Do we have something else to iron still? Oh yeah, we do. Okay, it's still there. It's just kind of, I opened up that edge right there, like that, kind of push it. Maybe I'll get a smooth enough curve if I press it this way, that because I didn't really trim it or clip it because it's just a prototype. Get that little edge there. Just a wee bit. All right. Bye, Eileen. Thanks for all the work you're doing. Hang in there. Stay safe. Or keep all the people that aren't being safe away from you, okay? It's like I hate telling people drive safe. Really what I want to say is avoid all the people not driving safe. Okay. Okay, now we have our flap. We'll stitch around it. That's the trick. Yeah. All right, so our lining is like right here. I can feel it right here and right here. So I'm going to do kind of an organic shape here. Best I can without a guide. All right, now let's edge stitch our pocket, or I mean our flap. Okay. Now I haven't put any, all right, Louise. Yay, it's 8 o'clock there. Cool. We screen with questions for it. That's good. I'm glad, Eileen. There's no interfacing or stiffener in any of my pattern pieces today. I did catch that whole thing. So now we have this little pocket. Put your car keys or whatever in there. Nice little convenient one on your flap. All right, so we have this flap, and now we have our design, the flap we designed together. We have a little bit of elastic going in here. Not sure how we're doing that yet. So let's sew our gussets first. No, wait. Those are going into the seam, right? How's that working? It's going to be, this is the only one we're doing with a little bit of the seam back there, right? Like that. And then gathers. I may have to sew this and then re-sew it. Like kind of we did the gusset pocket, but that's okay. Time is it? It's already 1. Maybe I think I might, maybe I'll pause this and finish this on Saturday. Oh, okay. All right. So then we have the outer flap and then lining flap. Let's sew these right sides together. No, that's not what I wanted to do. That is not what I wanted to do. I want these raw. I had already decided this. It was very compelling to sew these corners though. All right, got that. Whoops. The order of operations is always the tricky part. Because you can kind of get yourself into a pickle if you don't think ahead, right? And this is one I want in that final seam. I think the one thing weird about this flap is the fact that the top edge of the back pieces needs to be finished when I sew it in there. And that might be kind of hard to do. I'm wondering, because this flap will hang behind the bag, that comes down a little bit from the top edge, right? So if that's the case, we have to have that top edge finished. And it needs to go in the seam there as we're sewing it, but I also need to, yeah, I have to think about that. I gotta do it hands-on style. All right, so now we have these things finished, but I think what I can do is finish this perimeter edge here. And then we're gonna need to put elastic in there as well. So I think this is correct. Stop not lining up. Stop showing my terrible cutting skills. All right, now we have this, and let's put in our elastic. Not quite sure how we're doing this part. And it needs to go there. Oof. I'm just gonna try this for now. I actually think I would probably make a casing if I did this. And put my awl in the end there. Stitch it down. Quick. I'm not sure. That's what I'm thinking of, you know? Where's that notch? There it is. That is the notch? Okay. You know, because I know this one hangs down. It doesn't hang down. I'm saying that kind of incorrectly. It hugs the back. It's hard for me to sew out loud while I'm trying to think that through. You know, actually, if you do that in the seam allowance like that, you might be able to manage a casing after the fact. Let's see. So we have this edge here. That was kind of a lot to stretch that elastic. It wanted to do it. It was fine. But it'll make it a little harder to sew this next part. All right, so let's get this edge here. I should probably press this, huh? I'm too excited right now. All right, so if I push this like this and I get this to the back, I think I would do this a little differently. I just came over to the edge so I can edge stitch because I feel like stitching that far away is a little weird. So now I wish I would have ironed. See? It's okay. This is that thing I warn about in my project bag sewing with that little edge crumpling in there. You attach the flap to the outside back. Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking too, late night. I think what you can do... well, actually, let me finish top stitching this because let me see if you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Actually, I was thinking about this yesterday after the stream, or maybe it was when I was laying in bed last night. I used to like to sew myself to sleep. Now I can't. I'll get kind of excited and it doesn't work. But it used to really calm me down. But really technical stuff, especially for clients, I would sit there and just sew their stuff in my sleep. When I was having some really serious like sleep issues after having my daughter, like it was really hard for me to get back into sleeping well for years after having my kid, and it was just probably a combination of so many things. And then I finally one year was like, enough is enough. I'm getting a hold of this, you know. And one of the things I did was sew things in my head. So, note to self, follow my own advice about the end next time so it doesn't crumple in on itself like it wants to do like that. Alright, so what I'm thinking is, it's a little weird looking. Besides that, so where's the back? Oh, we didn't iron that. Where's the back? Here's the back. Okay. So what I'm thinking, I want to hear what you're thinking too, is I would probably sew this. I don't know if that would work. Because this is how it's going to go. It's going to go like this, right? Like that's how it's set to go, right? So maybe if I I can leave this a little bit there. Ooh, I'm not sure, late night. Okay, so this would be the corner, right? Yeah, but I think I know what you're talking about. But remember that this comes down the back like this, right? And goes like this, right? Yeah, so you're thinking like leave it, so I'm thinking if this was clean finished, I would top stitch that down You know, like lower this to, so if that's my seam line, lower this right to the seam line like that, right? It should go across all the way like that. Yeah, it does. So if that was clean finished, or at least under, like stitched like this, right? Say we just do that. Then attach the duffel. Okay, so then this is what I'm thinking. I do this, right? So that. And then I can just leave this like this. I think that'll work. And then I can just, if I just leave this like this and make sure that I try and hit this corner at the top of my bag, I can treat all of this like the flap's not even there. I just sew it. Right? I'm going to edge stitch this down right now. I'm going to get this out of my way. And I'm going to get you out of my way. I am tired of you guys being in my way. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're thinking the same thing. Okay, cool. Ooh, I love these kinds of sewing puzzles. And you would want a notch for that, you know? Like where to line that up. But basically, that's going to be right about there. We're going to turn that under like that. Or we do this. Right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, Patty, cool. Yeah. Yeah. You an expert. Okay. All right, so I'm actually going to do this for now. I'm going to sew it right sides together for now. I'm not sure I'll leave it like that. Let me double check. I think that's good. Right sides together on the back, exactly. Okay, and so now we have, it can go like this. Now we pull this up. I can actually maybe encase this, right? Let's just do it. And now I can just leave it like this. I cut it a little close on that one right there. I'll just sew it down for now. Eileen. I think I got it a little bit crooked. It's my only thing right now. But it'll be a good starting, right? That's what you tried to explain. Thanks for sticking with me late night. I'm really liking this though. What do you think? I really want to eat lunch and pause till Saturday, but I also really want to finish this. We're trying to suck you back in, Eileen. Okay. So let's just, I get really tight through my shoulder blades when I'm streaming. Let's just put the outer bag together now. Right? So we can kind of see what we're doing. Oh, I don't have this pocket on here. So let me put this pocket on. I gotta iron it because I keep forgetting when I'm over there. Yeah, I like that. I like that you're backing me up late night. It's like as soon as I'm doing it and I look up and you say to do that, I'm like, okay, good, I'm on the right track. But yeah, exactly. And you're leading me to the using the gusset on the flap. That was awesome. It's so funny because I do analyze a lot of the clothes I wear, the ready to wear clothes, you know. I don't really have very many right now, but I try and think back to ones I've had, and it's really funny. The time I spend doing that the most is like when I'm using the restroom, you know, and then you get to see the inside of your pants or whatever, and then I just sit there kind of checking stuff out, you know. Yeah, I think that's great too, Sherry. Yeah. Okay. Let me edge stitch this. I don't have to edge stitch this. Basically, I am so I can see it in a picture afterward too. It'll help you guys see, oh yeah, we have a pocket back there if you can kind of see something. Like normally, you know me, I would probably bind this. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Patty last time was really like, she was like, ah. I felt like I was driving her nuts. She's like, you're not getting it. But she never said that. She's always very nice and polite about it. All right, so let's put this pocket back here. It just goes along the edge here. The thing is, this bag is kind of involved, but even with all my back and forth today and troubleshooting, we've almost got a bag in 2 hours, you know, so I don't feel like it's that intimidating. That's why it's sometimes it's harder to keep it simple. Ooh, I shouldn't have done it that way. No. No. Don't look. Don't look at that, okay? Okay, so now we have this. Let's pin this out of the way. We'll just put a few pins like right here and right here. Kind of keep this all creeping in there, you know? Okay, now we have our front. We have our back. We have our baffle. And I think I'm going to put my fake ribbon strap on the side here. Okay. Just like this. I made a really long one, so let's shorten it so that I can actually try it on. You do kind of have to put on your hardware on these bags before you're done. Oh, you're great, late night. I can't even tell English isn't your first language, and I don't think I remember you even saying that, so you're doing really good. I know, it's hard to speak in your non-native language about something they don't really teach you when you're learning, you know? Like, it's not like they teach you all kinds of sewing terms when you're learning another language, so... Okay, so now we have, I think the thing I might run into is I remember this being a little bit the wrong length. So I may have just put the strap on and it won't work. So, all right, I'm going to put some notches on this since it doesn't have any yet, but it will. Just going to do the centers rather than the corners because I'm not going to sit there and figure that out right now. And so then we'll do our centers on these. And my center on this one should be that. Could probably get rid of some of my threads here, but they won't show. Yeah, we can pretty much trust that as our center. What have I got going on right here though? This looks funny. This isn't lining up that great. So let's get that lined up so it's not a problem later. Might just be drawn up because of the gusset pockets too, which might be a side effect. Yeah, right, Patty, exactly. Yeah, I mean, and that helps. Like, I learned Spanish in a school setting, but I used it in a work setting, and I ended up learning not just sewing terms, like not really the sewing terms you and I would use, but things you would use in a factory and stuff, and so it helped, but it was great. I loved it, and they were all like, everyone on the production floor was so helpful of me learning, and just really great. Between our two languages, we'd get there. Okay, this seems like it's gonna work this time. I was kind of surprised it didn't before. I may have just made an error when I cut it out because I was using measurements, and I may have measured incorrectly on the pattern or on the fabric. Okay, so here we go. We have that. There we go. Yeah. All right. Partly I want to get this all the way because I also want to see if my idea of making this being able to be sewn without binding it is going to work. We don't have our water bottle pocket in this step though, is our only thing we don't get to try. Oof, that's a little bit off now. Why am I a little off on this side? Why did that side work and this side didn't? What the heck? I'm going to take it out. I'm not standing for that. It's probably because the pockets here are so stiff. It's giving it very little flexibility, you know. And you know the way I'm going to do it? I'm going to start from the top on this side and meet it. And we're going to meet in the middle. Can I do it? I could do it if I didn't lose all this right here. Looking like a prototype, am I right? Can I get it in there? Can I get it in there? Woof! It's gonna be close. Where's that corner at? Oh, I gotta turn now. Yikes. Let's see if I can do it. Oh boy. Alright, we're gonna let that go though. Oh wait, we're not letting that go. I caught it with like a little thread there. See that? Just trying to figure out where to pivot that corner. And I just caught that fold in there. Dang. It'll work though. Pretty sure. Doesn't help that my seam allowance is quite accurate right there. We'll definitely check that measurement to see. I would anyway. All right, so now we have our little flappy thingy going. It's getting there. Yep, it's getting there, exactly. All right, so let's start from the center and work our way out. Corner notches, if you're a bag designer and you're making a pattern and you really want to skip that step of figuring out where to pivot on your long straight piece at the corner, don't skip it. Just do the math, because you're going to save yourself so much time later on. And the other thing that you will save yourself with is making sure this corner is directly straight across to the other corner. Otherwise, your bag will get wonky. And it's unfixable. It's one of those rare things that's just unfixable if you get that off kilter. So just do the math. Hey, Miho, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. All right, and now let's do this side. I obviously like sewing from the baffle side. Maybe it is called a duffel though. I like that. But I also want to make sure I'm not pivoting in the wrong spot. So, all right, let's see. Can we get there? Can we get there? All right, this one went way better. Okay. You know, I think with this flap design, the one thing you might lose, which I would, for me, I wouldn't want to lose this, is the handle idea. You know? The handle is so nice when you don't want to use your flap or your strap. Okay, we got those. All right, so here is our... We don't have our, shoot, I just want to finish it now. We don't have our laptop pocket in there yet. Okay, this flap idea though, I think it's gonna work. Okay, so my strap needs to be lower. Needs to be stiffer because there's nothing in there yet. Where is the camera? I think that'll work. I think when this is nice and stiff here, but see, look at that. See, this strap would need to be lower all the way down there, right? Well, the handle would be under the flap. I mean, you could do it right here. That's true. As long as this has a closure, you could use that handle. Let me take this out right here. Let's just try and finish it. At least get it to the point where we know what we know all the elements, right? I want to know if I can sew it, and I think I can, which is yay. Let's get rid of you. Let's get rid of you. All right. So yeah, so that would need to be lower so it's not interrupting the flap, okay? Like that. That, right? How's it look on this side here? I think it looks awesome too, actually. I think you might want, like, you could put a buckle, like a ribbon with a buckle on it coming out from this seam right here and one here. That would be the easiest, right? You just need to remember to do it. And it might push your pocket up is the only thing if you want it centered. You could do two. That's one way. All right, so let's, and then here's our vanilla flap has the zipper on it. So that would be And an oil stain, apparently. You see that? I don't know when that happened. I saw it happen. I was like, oh, it's just water. And I'm like, nope, not water. Okay, so now let's look at our lining. And decide how far down that water bottle pocket will be and attach it on there. So I think it'll be about right here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm liking it too. I really like how well it worked for transporting that quilt project I was doing. Something I don't even normally do. And I was like, ooh. All right, you want to get that straight across. So this is our water bottle corral, basically. Okay, so now let's sew our lining together. Now, this is our front, and that's our back. And I'm gonna put it on this side here, okay. Oh, let's put our center. And we're gonna leave a section open so we can clean finish all the edges. It's about to get pretty cool. All right, I'm just gonna leave like that right there open. I know for a lot of folks, seeing things sewn in like muslin fabrics, it's really hard to picture. And it's also really hard for a lot of folks to picture designs before they're actually sewn. It's not, and I just want you to know that that is not uncommon. That is like most people cannot picture something unless they see the physical thing to get a reference. So if you're one of those people, don't feel like we're all seeing something you don't see, or that you're not good enough or something, because that's definitely not the case. I've worked in some really amazing places where people had trouble with that, and they had other ways of getting around it, and because it was their job, you know. It exists in lots of different realms too. I follow a few artists, and I remember seeing them all, and I don't really interact with them or talk with them, but I like seeing what they're talking about and interacting with. What the hell? Why doesn't this fit? So, but one of the things that they all were quizzing them each other about recently was really interesting to me. Okay, look at this big. Okay, so just ignore the fact that it's too big. We'll fix that later. It'll be fine for this. One of the really interesting things, though, that they were talking about was they said they had this quiz. I don't remember what the image was, but it was like varying degrees of detail of a face. So it was like a person with no head, like no face at all, just totally blank, to extremely, extraordinarily detailed. It was so interesting. And they were saying, where are you on the scale? And there were so many artists that were like on that all the way to the other end of the scale, like extreme detail. They're like, oh, I can remember so much detail like this. And other people who were like, I can't even conjure my mother's face, you know? And I can relate to this because I have this issue with remembering what people look like, and I feel really bad when I can't remember what people look like when I see them, you know, like people I don't know very well. It's not like I don't remember my mom's face. I just mean like it's, you know, if I meet someone kind of new and I've met them recently and I'm like, oh, hi, my name is Sarah. They're like, you can tell they're just like, we just met like a week ago. Why can't you remember me? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, you know? So, why is this side sewing in? So I thought it was really interesting. And then I was watching this conversation between all these artists, right? And they were kind of just marveling at each other's varying degrees of what they could remember, what they couldn't remember, and why. And then they were all posting links to these medical phenomenons about it. And I was like, that's so cool. And I started thinking, it's kind of like this, like if you started talking about something you wanted me to draft a pattern for, I can instantly start seeing it in my head. And that's why sometimes when people ask me questions or like give me suggestions, I can see it so many different ways that's why I'm like, what do you mean? You know? But if you were to show me someone's face, what happened? Okay, well, that's a waste. Look at that. Don't ever use your bobbin if it's doing that. Ay, caramba. So I know that this stage is probably a little bit tedious for a lot of people because they just are like, I don't see it. It doesn't look nice. It's not pretty fabric. And I totally get that. So, but when you see it in real fabric, it's going to be really cool. That's always the best. Okay. Okay, so now we have our lining going into our bag. And we're going to clean finish it with no binding. Because we're cool like that. And I got to remember how to do it. How to start sewing this. All right, this is inside. And I want this edge to go there. It's really easy to get confused. Pretty sure I got to do it from the inside here. Right? Let me just confuse myself a few more times here. I always like to make sure, like, even if I know what I'm doing, which right now I'm definitely trying to remember. How do I do this again? I always make it very literal. So these two edges are going to go together like that. Because I just don't want to do it wrong the first time. But I do have to do it through the hole. I know that. And I need to do it. Do I need to do it through the hole? No, I don't need to do it through the hole. I don't need to do it through the hole. That's what it is. I just need to make sure I leave a hole. Okay. So now we're just going to sew around the perimeter. In a way that doesn't confuse that heck out of me right now. There we go. Right? I can do that, right? Inside over outside. Yeah, like this, right? Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Lady Night. I used to make messenger bags and sell them, and I can't remember anything from that. Like, I don't remember anything. I remember what they looked like. I remember that they were oilcloth and lined, and they weren't that hard to sew. Ooh, I'm so excited that we are going to finish this right now. It's going to happen right now. I love a project I can just tear through on my machine. All right, so I'm getting close to this little flap spot, so I really want to nail that top edge, hopefully, so then it turns over the top edge nicely. So there's my top edge on this one, though. So let's just dip it down a little bit. just so it looks good for the reveal. Okay, so now we have a bag. You put the outside bag inside the inside bag. I think I did it okay. I just was a little worried it couldn't be right sides together, you know? Like I thought I had to go through the hole, but that's something else. So this is where you're gonna have to edge stitch your hole. And mine obviously doesn't match for some weird reason. You guys saw it. One side did, one side didn't. So we'll just pleat it a little bit. You guys won't tell anybody. Like this. So we're going to sew our hole shut now that we used to turn it. And this is the lining of the bag right now. So no one will see us because it'll be pushed down in there. Why do you think that didn't work? So weird. All right. We're gonna edge stitch the top now. Let's iron it. Let's just draw this out a little bit. But we do have a finished bag without using binding now. We have this gentle curve in the front. Now you could have just sewn the lining, sewn the outer, stuck it in the bag, and then bound the top edge too. But you just needed to make sure that you would respect that little corner we sewed with this flap style. Big reveal incoming. I just wish it was cuter fabric, but hey. The open source bag. Sorry, I'm rushing the ironing. I know I could be doing a better job, but I think we all want to see it. Yes, last but not least, top stitching around the perimeter. Exactly. Sorry, I can't see the chat very well from here. Yeah, because it gives it that nice crisp edge. You gotta remember, I didn't use any interfacing or batting, so the insulation for the laptop sleeve is minimal. You really, Sherry? I don't know. It's a little fabrics are a little funky. I sewed the front the wrong side out. I don't know if you noticed. Okay, so I gotta probably prepare edge stitching this a little differently because of the way I sewed the flap. So I didn't set that up very well, but now we know. Oof. That bad ironing though. Just ignore that. Okay. Yeah, I almost did a chocolate strap, but the strap can be, I could put a real strap on this. It's not sewn well enough for that though. Remember what I did on the front? Ooh, at least my bobbin thread matches for once today. Let's get rid of all these little threads. Okay, all right, here, let's do it. So, let's get our lining in there really good. We have, forgot a water bottle today. We have our eyeglass pocket. We have our phone pocket. We have our laptop pocket. No padding. That laptop pocket actually I think is pretty darn good. Look at that, no stiffener, no batting, and it's still not gaping like it did before. And my laptop's pretty small for this pocket. We have our EpiPen pocket. 2 pockets, 1 zipper, 2 pockets here. And I think like interfacing and some stiffener or batting would really make this bag shape up pretty nice. Especially because once we pull it with the strap, it'll get a little bit slouchy, you know? Because there's no stiffener on the sides here. Let me put it on the full screen. You know? So see how it's pulling right here? So if there's some stiffener on these side straps so that this can kind of go over. But I know it doesn't look that great because of the fabrics, but, and no stiffener. It's not bad. Or this vanilla flap with the little zipper pocket. And I think in really nice fabrics, it's got a lot of potential with the stiffener. You can see it's pulling down there. Oh, you can't see that. Where am I looking for? Yeah, I think it's got a lot of, I think like once you put the stiffeners in there, I think this is going to be really nice. Cause see that right there, what's happening there, how it's like pulling. So the one thing to do would be to stitch the strap all the way through. Yeah, Louise, with the zipper. Yeah, I think it'll be good. So now we know, like, stitch this through the both layers. I actually knew that. Totally forgot that. This was a really good reminder lesson of that. We'll put batting in here and a stiffener back here. I think the inside looks actually pretty nice. And if this was stiff right here, you know, oof, maybe it would do this little thing we're thinking of. You know? Yeah. Not bad. You guys did a good job. Cool. All right. Well, then, now the fun part of truing up the pattern. So I'm going to start working on that. And then maybe next week we can sew a real one out of real fabrics with real hardware. and that will be our sewing tutorial. And I'll be able to give you the pattern. Oof. Give me a couple weeks. But it is a priority, so I'm going to try and work on this. Yeah. I don't think I'll stream the pattern work because I really want to focus on it. Yeah. Okay, cool. I feel pretty good about that. Cool. Good job, guys. Thank you for all the input too. And I don't know what I'll do on Saturday or if I'll be live on Saturday. I'm definitely feeling like streaming is kind of a weird thing to do right now. It feels really, I don't know. It just feels kind of narcissistic. So we'll see. I think that what I'm going to flip to is streaming whenever I can and on whatever I'm doing. So if you are subscribed to the stream and you want to know when I go live, because I might not be following my schedule, there's a little bell. And with YouTube, there's a little bell. And if you just click that bell, it'll say turn notifications on. And you can just say yes. And then you can always turn them off. That's where you do it. You just do it on that bell. Awesome. I'm glad, you guys. Yeah, I think this bag is really fun. I love encountering things that I didn't think of ahead. That is just so cool about it, you know? Like you just go, oh, I know this is going to work. And every time I say that, I'm like, okay, what didn't I think of? Because I know now that's never the case. So, yeah. I kind of want to use that waxed canvas I got. That stuff is so stiff, I'm scared. And I don't think I have enough in the blue. I do have pink though. You mean because of the stream, Sherry? I know, but I don't know. Thanks. I appreciate that. And honestly, you guys, I really like hanging out with you guys. You guys are really something I look forward to doing. And I think by just taking off the schedule, that'll make me feel a little more relaxed right now about it, because I might just do some things I have laying around here or whatever, or maybe we could just sew together. So I know it's probably easier if you're interested in the topic I'm sewing to make sure you can kind of show up for that. So if you guys can make it, you can make it. I don't even know if I'll upload the streams or not. So we'll see. But just click that little bell. You can always turn it off later. And I'm pretty sure if you click the bell for me, it doesn't mean it clicks the bell for every person you follow. So if you have those 3 or 4 streamers, YouTube people that are always uploading stuff, you won't get like a ton of their notifications. You just turn it on for the streamer that you want, or the YouTube person. So, oh, I'm glad late night. Yeah, I've been having trouble this week myself. It really started hitting me, and I really feel guilty for feeling that way. And I know I can't be alone in that. Like everyone else is like, I'm gonna sew everything, and I'm like, is that really the best use of my time? That would make me feel good though. You know? And then on top of it, my family's at home and I'd rather be there, and all my sewing is here. I don't know. It's just a weird world. So just stay safe and clean and distant, everybody, so that maybe we can get back to normal as soon as possible, right? Just follow everything the medical professionals are telling us, because that way we can all get back to normal and the economy can maybe get a little bit better, you know? So thanks for coming, you guys. I really appreciate it. So I'll see you guys when I see you. Maybe Saturday, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. I don't know. So thanks for tuning in, and I can't wait to make your pattern for you. Yeah, remember to hit that thumbs up. My friend always says that. She's like, hit that like and subscribe, when we're always making fun of gaming streams. I already see 4 thumbs up. It's really funny. That's nice. Oh, nice, late night. Stuffed bunnies. Making that guinea pig was really fun. Ooh, did I really go over 4,000 subscribers on YouTube? Holy moly. When did that happen? Is that true, you guys? That can't be true. I was pretty far away from that last month, I thought. Like 250 people away. Wow. That's exciting. I was kind of hoping I'd get to 4,000 this year, and I'm already over it. So tell a friend. They might need sewing pals. So, all right, you guys. Have a great rest of your week. I'm sure I'll see you. 407. Yes, I think. Wow, cool. That's great. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Where's my little thingy? Okay, cool.